Learn from my experience when it comes to navigating a buyer's market. In order to understand what that means, you need to know what it means to be in a buyer's market. When we call a market a seller's market or a buyer's market, it dictates who has the most power in the current market, who has the advantage. So if there are lots of sellers, but not a lot of buyers, we have a buyer's market. If we have lots of buyers, but not a lot of homes for sale, we have a seller's market. If you paid any attention to real estate for the last 4 or 5 years, you've been witnessing a major seller's market. We have not had a lot of homes to sell. We've had lots of people who wanted to buy homes, so they have to make aggressive full price or sometimes over list price offers in order to get the house. On the flip side, in a buyer's market, we have sellers who are ready, willing, and able to sell, but for some reason, we don't have enough buyers to absorb the inventory. So the question is, have we shifted from a seller's market to a buyer's market? And if we have, how does that affect you in your offers, particularly where your mortgage is concerned? The answer is no. We have not yet shifted completely to a buyer's market. We are coming closer to what we consider a balanced market. I want you to consider the scales of justice. Think in your head about the scales of justice, and as you push down on one side, the other side goes up. We have been a seller's market, meaning their side is up in the air. Now, as inventory sits and buyers have gone on the sidelines because of high rates, the scales have begun to balance back out. It's possible that the scales could tip even further and we could go back into a buyer's market. Statistically, at some point, this will happen. So what do you need to know about your offer in a seller's market or a buyer's market, particularly where financing is concerned? Well, one thing we've seen in the last 4 years, cash has become king in the seller's market. So in a seller's market, if someone's offering cash, but you have to offer financing, that person offering cash will oftentimes get the contract because there's less risk to the seller. If you don't have to do an appraisal and you don't have to qualify for the loan, then there's less risk to the seller. So the seller might actually even accept a slightly lower offer because it's cash. They haven't had to do that because it's been a seller's market. So they've been getting full price offers of cash and accepting those offers, which means if you had an offer to make, but you needed financing, you had to find a way to improve your offer. The way we did that at Weber Mortgage was to get you fully underwritten so that when you were submitting your offer, it was basically a full price offer, except you were going to need an appraisal. Well, now, if we switch back to a buyer's market, how does that affect you needing to be a super tight, wrapped up pre-approval to let the seller accept your offer? Well, the answer is it softens it a little bit, but it doesn't really change things. Even in a buyer's market, you need to be squared away. Not just for the seller, not just so they'll accept your offer, but to know that you're going to have the smoothest mortgage process possible. So we still recommend our concierge program. In our concierge program, we fully underwrite your loan and get you completely approved. Then, once you find a property, all we have to do is research the title and potentially do an appraisal and have your loan cleared to close. That's more than enough to convince a seller, even in a seller's market, typically to accept your offer. But in a buyer's market, the stronger your offer is, the faster that seller will be willing to move. So whether we're in a seller's market, whether we're transitioning back into a more balanced market, or at some point in the future, if we get into a full-on buyer's market, financing is still crucial, and it's still the most important thing for you to make sure you have a stress-free process. If you have questions about this, which I'm sure you do, just drop me a DM and put buyer's market in the message. I'll know what you're talking about, and we'll start a conversation. Not so sure about a conversation through DMs? That's fine too. Pick up the phone and give me a call.